Oh, I see her.
Yeah.
There we go.
What's going on, Sandy?
Oh, wow, that light in the back. It's really bright, huh?
Oh, yeah. We got to change.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change. Let me turn it all around. Hold on one second. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So what's been going on, man?
Just staying busy.
I hear you.
Staying busy. I kind of don't know where I am right now. Just trying to continue. There's so many opportunities. So it's like trying to stay focused, I think, is like my biggest thing.
Right. That is very hard, Charles. I mean, I tell you, because there's so many opportunities that come your way, and you don't know.
Yeah.
You want to choose what's best, and you try to balance it out. But that's one of the hardest things, especially as entrepreneurs, trying to decide like what's going to be the best route, and balance it out. And then you don't want to have that FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like,
right.
Wow, was it that one? Like, was that the opportunity that was going to be the one that took me over the top?
Right.
So all of that is important, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. So I wanna get into it because it's so funny. Like the intro conversation usually is like super deep and super dope. And so I'll save it for the episode so people get more value out of the episode too.
Okay, cool. You can hear us okay? Everything's good?
Yeah. Let me make sure my mic is using the right mic. Yeah, I'm using the right mic.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, I do it like this. I want to make sure.
So
that's good.
This is the Tide Capital Millionaire Podcast. This is episode number 112. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Tide Millionaire, founder and the director of the Tide Capital Investment Club, as well as Tide Acquisitions. Make sure you guys all leave us a rating or review, preferably a 5-star review. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Help us get the word out and help us kind of continue this mission of changing the culture. Thank you all for tuning in. The purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful African-American business owners and investors so that people can hear the stories of successful examples because they exist. We want people to learn that business and investing are the true keys to financial success and generational wealth. With us today, we have none other than Paki and Sandy of Hood Estates, hailing from Florida, but they're kind of like all over Florida. They're always in a different part of Florida doing something fly. So, man, they're doing so much really cool stuff with trucking. Still, of course, doing the real estate stuff, and I'm sure they have like super big goals for the next few years, few months, all this cool stuff they've been brainstorming at the work retreat. So wanted to bring them on and kind of update you guys because I think they were on the show about 40 or 50 episodes ago.
Episode 50.
Yeah. So like almost, So it was a while ago, but I've been following them and just kind of always been in tune with what they have going on. But maybe the listeners haven't been able to be updated. So I wanted to bring it back on, and welcome to the show, guys.
Definitely. Thank you. We appreciate you, Todd, having us on. See the growth, and we definitely want to congratulate you on your success and pushing the culture forward and doing what only you could do. So thank you.
Thank you, man. So I want people to know who you are. So can you kind of give them an introduction of you and what you've accomplished thus far in business?
Wow. Okay. So basically, I'm Paki, and this is my wife, Sandy. We're part of, the Hood Estates brand that we built. We've been doing real estate for years. We started off back in 2004, 2005. I was a county worker. Sandy was a housewife at the time, and we wanted to get into real estate. And like a lot of people, we went and bought some courses. It's a little dated, but it'll tell you the Carlton Sheets program. And we were just as lost as we were when we started. So we ended up getting a mentor who actually walked us through the process of buying real estate. We purchased a lot of real estate a few years later in Atlanta. We were flipping a lot of properties, made a bunch of money. And like a lot of people, we lost it all in the 2008 crash, which helped us understand about having 1, multiple streams of income, 2, passive income, and, not living above your means as money's coming in, which that's a whole nother podcast in itself.
Yes.
But, it taught us a lot. We ended up being homeless, lived in the car some nights, lived with some strangers, just the whole nine with our kids. And sort of got up out of that around 2011, 12, when I started doing tax deeds for some investors. I learned that game and managed some property. And an opportunity came 2013 for us to come to Jacksonville and to purchase a hotel. And I know we'll get more into that. But that was sort of like the biggest new beginning. And from there, having a hotel, selling a hotel, starting the Hood Estates brand. And, here we are now on this podcast. So that's sort of the quick version,
Yeah, the quick version. So, when I hear your story, it sounds a lot like if like somebody who has a lot of money loses that money, but they still have the knowledge, they can get it back. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, very much so. This is why knowledge is the key, because, they can't take this, you know what I mean? And what happens sometimes, especially in business, methods change, but the general knowledge of it works. And sometimes just applying that knowledge. And I tell people all the time, I really believe we were in our situation of struggle with being homeless for probably 2 years more than we should have been. We went through that for almost 3 years, like of just having nothing to finally coming out of that. And a lot of people look like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, the first year, maybe. But those last 2 years, definitely that last year was us not just putting the pieces together. Like, we knew what to do.
And we were still afraid.
Yeah, you're afraid because you lost it all, and you're afraid to make moves, and you're not relying on your knowledge. And we actually was not even confident enough, because even looking back now, when we started doing the tax deeds for almost a year, just to be honest, I was being underpaid because I just felt like, wow, this is better than being home. Like, nothing to something, not realizing the value was way more because of my experience. But I was so down on myself from losing it all and having my family in this position where we're living in someone's den with no door, and it was like, I wasn't confident. And literally what happened was the opportunity for the hotel changed it all, because the pattern was about to continue. When we met with that investor about partnering on this hotel, the meeting wasn't about partnership. The meeting was about, hey, you found this deal for me. Why don't we do like all deals? I'm going to, shoot you some money. And, hey, like all other deals, you can manage this hotel for me and I'll pay you a salary. I'll pay you a management fee, and that's it. And like the light bulb went off, like, wait a minute, our value is worth more than this salary. You know what? Now we need ownership. And we end up negotiating ownership, which was our first time. And a lot of people don't understand. We went from nothing. And this is why knowledge is important. A lot of people say experience is important as well, but the knowledge, it was so important that because we had this knowledge from before, our first deal of ownership with a partner came at a 170 unit hotel. See, most people say, and don't get me wrong, you want to start with the small deals, but remember, we already knew real estate. We were flipping years before. So because of that confidence and that knowledge, we were able to say, you know what, this salary is not going to work. We need ownership.
And you were willing to say no. Yeah,
and I was willing to say no. I was willing to say, you know what, and that's scary. And I think that's going back to what I was saying, why I realized that we were in that situation probably a year and a half to 2 years longer than we should have been, because before I was saying yes to everything. People would come to me, hey, can you do, 100 hours worth of work for, 50 hours worth of pay? Well, yeah, you know what? We in this situation, we living in these people's den. We don't have any money. Let me just do anything. And I was afraid to say no to things, not looking at my value. I was looking at my current situation and not my value.
I can say to this, Todd, is that I think another thing that he needed a push. He needed me to be able to say, we just came from that. Okay. So it won't be unfamiliar. So we can take a risk with this and say no let's make this our first no. And if it don't work out, it's okay. We'll rebuild again.
Yeah.
And when he got my support, he was able to stand on it.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, wives give you the push.
And always, you know, whether it's direct or indirect, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you guys are going through this situation. How did you keep the relationship together? How did you guys keep the love going, and how did you keep just the marriage moving forward? Because I know when people, especially like in the recession, like a lot of people, it didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
What about you guys made it different?
Well, I mean, we always, credit our friendship to our longevity in marriage right now at 23 years of marriage. If you don't have a friend, because let's just keep it real, there's going to be days, nights, weeks that you're not in love, you know, that you're not really feeling that person. But friendship lasts the test of time, you know, and I think having that friend to go through it with you and just not giving up, because, and it's hard, like you said, especially you got kids, you know, they looking to you to provide your family, you know, and there were some rough nights. I can honestly say, you probably can look in if you type in the file, you'll see there was some divorce papers filed several times, just not completed. You know what I mean? But
a couple of times.
Yeah, the papers were put in. You know what I mean? So, and that's with anything, man. I tell people, listen, you can't go with how you feel. Feelings are temporary. Go with what you know. And I knew that she had my back. She knew that I was always going to be there for her. This just was a trying time. And it always looks green on the other side. It always looked like, oh man, you know what? If I can just get out. But you got to realize, it's better with two people.
Yeah.
You know, so I think as long as there's friendship there, and this is what I tell people, you don't marry for,
the butterflies.
Yeah, butterflies and this love. You got to build. Like, we're here building something, and we had been there before, and we knew together we could build. Like, we really had to look at the relationship and say, what's the real problem? And the real problem was,
it was beyond our control.
Yeah, it was beyond our control. Like, we made some bad decisions, and we're in this financial bind. So if we stuck it together through the good, why we can't stick it together through the bad?
But I think some of our hardest times was, to be honest, our homeless time wasn't really that bad that weighed on us. It was like before us learning and even trying to have money. It's crazy with us having money brought problems.
Right.
Because we used to be broke.
Right. That's true.
And then you
got used to having it,
right,
and then not having it.
And then after we got back on our feet, problems came into our relationship. But I can truly say, during our time that we was out there and that we were homeless, we banked so much on our friendship and our faith, because there is times, I think when we first got together, we built a long-term best friend relationship that we wanted something to last even if we didn't make it.
Right.
So we learned how to do that. That's time I'm talking to my husband, but I'm talking to my best friend, and we can kick it. We can go to the movies and everything. We just not lovey-dovey. But this is my homeboy.
Right.
So we brought that into our time of struggle. When we were going through it, I would root him on, and he'll tell you, I went and got 2 jobs. Yeah. It's crazy. I had 2 jobs, Todd, and we still was homeless.
Yeah. And
I only went and got those jobs because I saw him going into a depression.
Yeah.
So I went and got those jobs, and I got my checks on Friday. I got $25 because the agreement was that I can get $25 out of my check, that I can get my nails done because I was a clerk. So then I would give him the rest of the money as if he went out and got it, because I needed him to feel like he was providing for the family. So I wouldn't sacrifice my time, because he let me be a housewife for years. Now it was my time to go into the workforce to make sure that I kept my man happy and made him feel like he was providing. So I would get my checks, take all my money except for $25, and I would give it to him and let him distribute the money as needed, because I needed him to understand that he still was the man. Yeah.
I couldn't get a job for nothing. Like, I mean, I was applying places, and it was like, you overqualified. I'm like, overqualified? Like, it was bad. You know, it was hard. But now looking back at it, I realized it wasn't meant for me, because if I probably would have ever got that job, I'd have been stuck.
Yeah.
You know, so, yep.
There's a lot to take out of that. I think one of the most interesting things about it is, like, a marriage is kind of like allows you to balance off each other. So, like, when you're up, like she's still up. When she's up, you're still up.
Right.
And it's like it allows people to not lose. And that's kind of the goal. The goal is to not lose, not to be the man.
So, right. Exactly.
Oh, your pride go out the door. It is slow time for humbleness.
Yeah.
And that's when you kick in understanding and communication.
Yeah.
No, and you have to be open and honest. That protective liar crap got to go out the door.
Yeah.
This is not about feelings, because we already experience. Everybody already know we experience feelings. Bro, we sad, we angry, we all that stuff.
Hot,
we done master that part. Now we need to master communication and strength and knowing that we got each other back, and that we can conquer the world together. We can build back up because we have the foundation, and that was the knowledge, and we had the experience. Right. We just need to have the confidence to go forward.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go back to we're so deep down the hole. I had a question. It's like kind of further ahead in the conversation, but my question is, now that you guys are doing so well, how are you protecting so that you don't have to go through that situation again?
Well, I think, on the financial side, one is like I said, definitely multiple streams of income. Two is not living above our means.
Oh, most definitely.
And not over leveraging. That was one of our biggest things that we did do back then. We leveraged a lot. And when the bottom fell out, we were stuck. So that's one. And I think as you grow, you realize that things are not as important.
They're
temporary. Yeah. So we live for experiences and spending time with each other. So from a financial standpoint, that's one. From a relationship standpoint, I think that
it's our time.
It's our time. Yeah, we build together, and to protect against that, we make sure like we pray together every morning. We support each other, and it's just like everything. As you go through those bumps and bruises, but as you grow with a person, you start to realize like I know when to push and when not, and vice versa. And I just think I got to keep it real, keeping God at the center of it.
All time.
I can't take any credit. She can't take any credit because, when either one of us, it doesn't matter who thinks they're right, we got to go with God and our faith. So if you don't believe, you got to believe in something. You have to have something that's there, go to. And that's definitely God's the center of it,
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
I think with us too, that now all our kids are growing is our time.
Yeah.
Because he was a teenage father and I was a teenage mother. So we are finally living out our teenage years in our 40s.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I have a cousin who kind of was the same way. She was a teenage mom, and now she's just doing whatever she wants to do. She's in a different country each month, just living the dream.
Yes.
It's kind of cool. So you guys always use the word fam.
Mm-hmm.
What's the purpose of the fam?
Well, for me, I would say, when we started Instagram, I never liked that follower thing. I guess that's just the person to me, being humble. I don't like people following them. Don't follow me. Like, I always wanted people to feel like, hey, we're family, and with family, that's how it lets me be open, because if I'm presenting to you as my family, now I can talk to you as my family. I can tell you the good. I can tell you the bad. I can tell you when you're wrong. I can tell you when you're right. I can admit to things, and I can now love you because we're family. So to me, that's why I just, hey fam, what's up fam? Y'all my family versus followers, are friends. And that's just my thing. That's always been my thing.
I think I got Paki to that point because Paki was not open to nothing.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I'm just being honest. Yeah. Like social media, I had to change I had to groom him and say, take that away. Take away that follower thing.
Yeah.
Because Paki just not with that whole, he's not a clicker.
Yeah.
You haven't the people that really rise off clicks to have to be a part. He was like, I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
And he was really shying away from social media. So I would let him know, look at this as your family. We're here to inspire and lift people up, and they have to believe. And mostly, honestly, I know there are all cultures out there, but I really, coming from the hood, man, I really wanted to put a light in our hood, in our people, and say there are people like us, especially when my people from my hood can see me doing different. I wanted to be that inspiration because I'm not gloating in your face. I'm telling you it's reachable. I'm letting you know that you don't have to live above your means. And it's crazy to pick it back just a little bit was the reason why we really don't be into those over-the-top luxury things is because, believe it or not, Todd, we had those things when we were homeless. We had the Phantoms, we had the Benz, we had the trucks, we had the mansions. We did all that when we were homeless. Believe it or not, because Paki still was affiliated with people of that caliber. And we grow bored of it. So it was crazy how God was already transitioning us, that he knew that he was going to put us back in prosperity to have us to the point we were going to have finances and not blow our money on it again. But we can go out and experience that. There is going to be times that I'm sure that we want to dress up maybe for a special occasion where we want to go out and we can go rent that car for, you know, or you know, lease that car for 6 months. And then we can change to something else. We've been going to different estates for the last almost 30 days now. We've been in 4 different estates. So, you know, I don't have an overhead. So it's really an awesome thing to be able to know the difference of where you apply your money to make an experience and then making it a overhead that's making it a debt. You know, you don't want to regret buying something.
Right. It's crazy because it's like the luxury stuff, like once you buy it, the money really is gone.
Let's go.
Like you get the Bentley and it's like, well, that's 300. I mean, depending on if you finance it or if you pay cash for it, but
right.
Yeah.
That's true.
What gave you the guts to buy the hotel or to become an equity owner in that hotel deal?
Well, I think with the hotel, going back to that, it was more of a opportunity to own something, like I said. And going through what we had went through, it's crazy that this particular opportunity was the one, which it's amazing. Sometimes these ones that stretch you the furthest, the most, are the best opportunities. Because now looking back, I'm like, why we just didn't offer to do a partnership on a single family house in Miami? Like what made this, you know, and it was a foreign land. Like we didn't know anybody in Jacksonville. And I think we sort of tricked ourselves. We kept saying, oh, well, we're going to go to Jacksonville. We'll be there for 1 week and then we're going to come back home for 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll be backwards and forth. And we tricked ourselves. You know, once we got there, we realized like, oh, we can't leave here. Like this is not going to work. So I think overall, it was just a change and knowing sometimes you get that thing like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. There has to be a change. And I realized, you know, being uncomfortable is that change. This was the most uncomfortable thing.
Oh my God.
Like you know, we had kids that, you know, transitioning from middle school to high school, another one that was transitioning from high school to college. You know, we were going through some issues. I mean, we argued. The day we left, we argued all the way from Miami to Jacksonville.
Can you imagine? He had a nagging wife.
The whole way. Like, and I remember telling my partner in town, like, man, I don't know if this is gonna work. You know, we're gonna do it. So sometimes, you know, it's just taking that leap. You know, you want change and you can't get comfortable. I think that's one of the reasons as well. A lot of people don't understand why we move around like this, because I don't want to get comfortable in one place. Because you get comfortable and then you miss out on opportunities. You get comfortable thinking that, well, you know, I live in Miami, so I got to buy property in Miami. No, you know what? I might have to go up. I might have to go west. I might have to go north. I might have to go somewhere. Guess what? I might have to actually get on a plane and go there and spend a day or two there. Yeah, it's not comfortable, but in that lies the blessing. In that lies the prosperity. In that lies you being stretched.
In a lot of ways, right? I think it does, because most people aren't willing to be uncomfortable. So if you're willing to be uncomfortable where they aren't, you're going to take advantage of opportunities that they aren't taking advantage of.
All day.
And that's where the money's made.
Yep.
And that's taken lightly. People they trying to use it more like a slogan. No, real life is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Real life is uncomfortable and unfamiliar. I ain't gonna cuss on your show. Unfamiliar crap.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you that's what real life is. It's just 100. Like they can make this buttercup all they want. That's not what life is. Life is about challenges and how you want to look at it and how you predict to move forward. And if you don't have a source that you believe in, boy, you better activate some faith in something, because that's what it is. It is a risk that you're gonna take. life is all about choices and risk. Even love, you have to choose, not a feeling. You got to choose to love and choose who your relationship is going to be with. That's all I can tell you, really.
Right. Would you guys buy a hotel again?
Not like that though. Yeah. We was talking about it. We would buy one as just owners.
We had 4 opportunities.
But yeah, I've had several opportunities since we sold that one. We would buy because we actually had, at the peak we had 2. Yeah, we had that 170 unit, and we had another 20 units with a little restaurant and an efficiency about an hour north of Jacksonville. But yeah, we would buy one, but we wouldn't operate one. That operation thing is, man, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day, because, hotels are open. So, and then the type of hotel we had, it was like the mom and pop, not in the best area. So we dealt with a lot of issues, but, just owning one, like my partner, it was great for him. He collected a check every month. He didn't do anything, so the ownership, definitely, but operating, no.
I think if we did own another one too, I still would want to be more mom and pop, because you have more say so in the franchise ones.
Right.
And that's
Flag
what I love.
hotels, right.
I love that, because it was so many guidelines and so many things that they couldn't do, that we talked with other owners that they had to follow so many things. And when you're a mom and pop, you have so much leeway.
Yeah,
with how
you do whatever you want,
do your operation.
pretty much, as long as you're along the guidelines of the city and the state. But those flag hotels, I mean, you got to change colors every this, you got to do this, you got to do that. Yeah, they keep you. So even if, let's say the furniture is good, like a lot of those contracts, every 2 years you have to change, regardless of whatever the case is. So, and then obviously they're eating into your pockets, but supposedly with their advertisement and stuff like that is supposed to help. But that the way that we did it, if I did it, I would love to do it that way.
Yeah, I would love to do my mom and pop.
Wow. Yeah, where I live right now, there's like right down the street, there's a piece of land that's entitled as a hotel, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool to just build it from the ground up, depending on the branding and all that stuff, what it looked like.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you guys, I'm pretty sure it was you. You said that the way your hotel was set up, a lot of truckers would come through.
Right.
And that's how you kind of got introduced to the trucking industry. So can we talk about that story?
Yeah. So basically where we were set up, we were right off the expressway. And like I say, this particular area was big for truckers coming in. So we deal with a lot of truckers, and I would see them come in. And it was one particular guy who he actually was there when we purchased the hotel. That's how long he had been living. A lot of these guys like literally live at the hotel. Like they go on the road and they keep a room at the hotel. We were giving them like monthly rates, so they would not have to pay by the night. But so this one particular guy, he had a truck and his truck broke down, and he came to me as the owner. Is like, hey, I know you're the owner. We knew him a little bit, and he's like, can I borrow like $2,500 to fix my truck? And I was like, no, I don't know you like that. Like, I'm not giving you $2,500. So he, a couple of days went by. He came back. He's like, you know what? Mr. Paki, I apologize. You're a businessman. I should have stepped you with a business proposition. So he's like, can I? I said, all right, I'll listen to what you got to say. He said, so this is what I want to do. I want to sell you my truck, and you don't have to pay me for the truck until after I make money in this business for you. All you have to do is pay the money to fix the truck. I'm going to give the title to you. Now, the truck, if you look it up, is worth like $15,000, $17,000. It was a 2002 Kenworth. And he's like, you just put the $2,500 to fix the truck. I'm going to sell you the truck for like, I think it was like 8 or 10 grand. And then you pay me the rest after you start making money. So I was like, you going to sign this over to me? And I looked it up and I realized, wait a minute. Even if I didn't do anything, I could sell this truck for 10, 12 and make money on it, and he literally did that. We went, he signed the truck over to me. I paid the money directly to the mechanic to fix it. He signed it up and he started showing me the game. And basically that first check came in, and believe it or not, I was so green to it because he pretty much did everything. Even though he was telling me what he was doing, I was like, okay, I'm running a hotel here, whatever. And the first check came. It was like almost $2,000. And I'm like, he's like, half is yours and half is mine. So I was like, really? The check was in our name. So I'm like, oh, I got to pay you. He's like, yeah, I told you, And I'm thinking it's for the month. He's like, no, that's for 1 week. And the next week, another check came. And the next week, another. Like, wait a minute. Like, this cash flow is crazy.
To the point, so he was like, man, how is this happening?
Yeah.
That guy was so freaking genius. He took Paki out on his load.
Yeah, he took me on the one load.
That was the beauty part of this. That he took him and showed him the whole game.
Yeah, took me in the truck. I went on the load with him. He showed me how he hook up and go and everything. And by this time, I'm like, wow, this is real. And you know, like anything, we just kept going with it. I really dug into it more, and then got a second one. And you know, so it goes from there. But that was the thing. At this hotel, this guy came. And, you know, I helped him out to get his truck, to get him back on the road.
And all this was to
secure his room. He couldn't pay for his room.
See that, Mom and Bob?
Yeah.
It was to secure his room.
So while he was doing all of this, we allowed him not to pay for his room. Like, we was like, okay, don't worry.
Right.
So this is, this was like the give and take. I'm helping you. You're teaching me this game. I put up the money to get it fixed. And, you know, here we are now. We've helped so many people get trucks just from that seed. This is why it's important, man. I tell people it's important to sow into people.
Oh man,
you know, because it comes back. You just don't know how, but it comes back. You know.
How many people do you think have bought trucks based off of the education you provide to them?
I'll be honest. We obviously haven't been able to track everybody, but I definitely know we're well over 100. You know.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. 100 trucks have been put out there just through our you know, us.
That's crazy.
People. Yeah, definitely over 100. You know,
that's dope.
We just found out 2 of our elite members. One of our elite members just bought 2 trucks. Didn't even tell us.
Yeah, people. That's the thing. People don't tell us. Like they don't even tell us. Like, oh, hey, I watched the course, or you know, and I went and did this, and I got it, and you know, so some people don't know. You know, certain people we do know, but that's why I'm like, I know it has to be over 100 because you know, we know probably about 70 to 80, maybe a little closer to 90 that we know of, you know. So
have you seen an increase in the demand for trucks in like the most recent years, like in the last 2 to 3 years, or is it still been kind of steady?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been increasing. A few years ago, it was like, oh, it's a $500 billion industry. Now it's clear that it's a $700 billion industry. So you know, it's a lot of people ask us about the self-driving trucks and stuff like that, which is a direct understanding that obviously if they're making self-driving trucks, the industry in itself is increasing. You know what I mean? So that's why they're doing it. You know, in this day and age with the big companies like Amazon that are killing everything, you know, people are not going out getting a lot of things. So a lot of things still have to be delivered. You know, you got to get it there. Transportation, you have to get it there. So
interestingly enough, the way you guys do trucking, a self-driving truck wouldn't affect your business. You just buy a self-driving truck. It really just, you already have a self-driving truck.
That's it. That's what people always say. Well, what are y'all going to do with these self-driving trucks coming on?
Hello.
We're going to buy them. You know, that's what we're going to do, which actually, believe it or not, it actually sort of helps our business because one of the hardest parts about this business and our business is the driver.
Yes, it is.
I'll be honest, finding good, reliable drivers. So if you really remove that equation and, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, my hats and shout outs go to all the drivers out there that provide for their families. So I'm not saying I'm hoping it happens, but from a business standpoint, it does not affect us. It actually will make things better because we don't have to rely on the driver anymore. Now, here's the other thing about that. I tell people, you know, people are way in 2030, you know, let's get to 2019, you know, and I say that with business all the time. So many people don't jump in businesses, don't do things because, you know, well, I heard that market, you know, is not going to be a good market 5 years from now. Okay, can we make money today?
I know,
you know, can we make money the next 2 years? Like, even with these self-driving trucks and things like that, yes, it's coming along, but you know, especially something like trucking where cash flows so quickly, you know how much money you can make by the time that even came along. And it's not like as soon as it comes along, every single truck on the road is going to be set. It has the flow in. I'll be honest, you're probably talking 20 years before if you really even think that. And I still don't think then like every truck will be, you know, every truck on the road will be self-driving. You're still going to have those people that need real drivers, you know what I mean? And who knows what's going to happen with these trucks and accidents and things like that. I tell people that's the biggest thing. You're concerned about tomorrow because you need to know things, but don't ever allow that to stop you from doing something today.
Right.
And it's the pressure. They're concerned about tomorrow because their finance is not in order. So whenever you have something that's hindering you or scaring you, you then place fear there of you moving forward.
Right.
So I would, I said this on to somebody else that interviewed us about this. I said, in 15, 20 years from now, honestly, I can say damn, right? I can say damn. Okay,
sure. You can say whatever you want to say.
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't give a damn 15, 20 years from now, I'll be 65. Like, my feet will be up with bum bums. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what? That person that's talking like that right now, it's not going to care either because they will be at another age, at another mindset with a whole nother direction. Right. They're talking about current. You're telling me 15, 20 years from now, you would not, even if you're 20 years old, you will be 40. You're not going to give a damn about that.
Right.
You're going to be moving forward in what you already planted. And at that stage in life, when you're heading over to 40 in your mid 40s, you should be in your harvest season.
Right.
You should not be in your planting.
Right.
There's no planting at 40.
Yeah. And then too, the other thing is that, it's like one of those things. So you see what's happening now.
Right.
And you go with what's happening now. Yes. Like I said, you adjust. That's the thing too. People that's part of business. You adjust. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you this example really quick, Todd. When I started doing tax deeds, we used to have to go into the tax deed office, go through a bunch of files, folders, look up each property. Like I'm sitting there for hours just writing down liens and violations and things like that. And then the auctions were held in the courthouse. We have to go there. And within a matter of a year later or two, they transitioned everything online. Mm-hmm. The files became online, so people didn't need to go down there. That was our biggest business. We used to make money selling the files, selling the paperwork to investors because everybody didn't want to come down to the tax deed office and sit there for a whole day or two going through files. So I just started doing it, and I started selling the files to investors. This was like a $7,000-$8,000 a month business for me, right? At the auction, I used to go to the auction. I used to negotiate deals between investors to not bid against each other. Yeah. So we'll let this investor get it for cheaper because we're not going to bid against him, but that investor has to kick everybody back a little piece. That was another business that I was making another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, sometimes $5,000 a month. When they took the auction and they took it and put it online, the files became online. So now people didn't need to buy them from me because they can sit in the comfort of their home and look up the files they needed. The auction was online. I'm not able to negotiate with investors because everybody's online. So we don't know who's bidding on what. Literally, that killed my business. Yeah. So I could have said, well, no, I adjusted. I found another way. I reinvented myself. I came at another angle. And that's my advice for some business people, young business people that may be getting out here. Don't look at, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, what if this market is not, as high as a rental market no more? What if it's not number 2 on the best places to invest in real estate or the best place? Who cares? You adjust, pivot, make a change. That's one of the keys. I know you're big on sports and football and basketball. The championship teams that win are the ones that make adjustments during the series. Right. You can come in with a game plan. Let's keep it all. They say everybody got a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. So you can come into the game. We're going to do this and do that. And I've noticed that watching, especially basketball series, the team that comes back and say, wow, we thought we were going to be able to guard so-and-so like this. I put so-and-so on him. It's not working. Okay, we're going to go and change the offense or change the defense. Those are the teams that win, not the teams that say, well, we came up with this game plan and this is how we thought we was going to win. Mm-hmm. No, you better change. You better change quickly. Sure, and that's the key. That's my advice to some people that may be getting in business. Don't be so much worried about 5, 10, 15 years from now. Get it in today. Like you want to look at those projections, but be willing and be ready and be able to pivot and make a change. Yeah. As things change, you change. As technology change, you change, and that's the way you go about it.
Even in existing business.
Yes.
Right now, people who are very anal.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's okay to bring some color into that thing.
Yeah, change up.
Yeah.
Go with technology, go with the wave and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with solutions. Don't just look at problems. Come up with solutions,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
You gonna bump.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's interesting because since we're talking about sports, that's what made Peyton Manning such a great quarterback. Is he had the ability to audible at the line of scrimmage, but he had the ability to audible because he knew so much. He studied, he did his research, he sat in the film room and just watched film after film after film, and so he was knowledgeable to see what they're giving him and then adapt. And so I think it's like kind of two principles we discussed. You got to get your education, you got to know what you're doing, and you got to be willing to pivot and adapt. That's dope.
True.
One of the things I saw you mention recently was people who they come to you, they got to be an empty vessel. They can't come to you like, well, I heard or I read or somebody told me this. Why is that so important?
Man.
No, let me answer.
Yeah, I'll let Sandy answer.
No, I want to answer that. Listen, I told Paki this because y'all know, come on, Ty, you know that Paki is the teacher, right? I don't have the patience. Paki is the teacher, so I support him. He filters things through me. And I'm okay with that. That's what makes the team work. My thing is, I told him this. I said, babe, I think because I listened to a lot of his calls. I listened to some of the, mentorships and stuff like that. And I said, babe, I'm listening to you almost be combative with the people asking for help. Like, how's this happening? And he was like, they explained to me. I was like, no, at the door, you got to say, listen, do you need this help? Yes. Did you pay for this? Yes. So you asking me for my mentor, my advice, my knowledge? Yes. Everything, I almost cussed. Everything I need you to dump it out. Mm-hmm. Because I need you to be so empty for me that I can be able to pour this into you, and everything, you're not going to forget everything you know. So everything after I pour into you, you go back and you pick that up and you see that's what's going to make you colorful. Right. And that's how it's going to work for you. But you can't come to somebody with a glass full. There is no room to pour nothing in. So that's why I told him, I said, babe, we have to do this on every aspect. This with partnerships. This with any new adventures we want to do. Anything that we do, we have to go in with an open mind to understand either they're going to teach us something or we're teaching them something. You have to go in just totally empty. Yeah. You empty don't mean not guarded. You're guarded, you're filtering, but at the end of the day, I got to give this the benefit of the doubt because I did make the decision. Trust your instinct that I did make the decision to say that I want this help from this person. So now I'm going to go with them full empty. Yeah. And I'm going to let them lead me. Yeah.
It's real important. Like you said, you can't, it's just one of those things. We see so many people that come to us saying, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then next thing you know, it happens mostly with the trucking thing. There are people we talk to, and I've talked to one young lady one time, and she literally was crying to me on the phone, like, "Oh my God, I haven't made a dime, and my driver's been making money, and this done happened, and I'm up every morning, trying to find loads for him. Now I just got a thing from the FMC that I'm about to get audited, and I'm like, whoa, what audited, and what are you talking about? Driving, making money, and you doing what happened?" Well, I watched the course and I was going to do it exactly like you said. And I started talking with my uncle who's been driving for 10 years. And he was telling me I need to do this and I need to do that. And look where you at now.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Ty, you know what I said? See, this is why I don't teach. Disclaimer. Because I just said, wait, hold on. So you came to me, right? So now you go listen to uncle. That means you don't need me.
Right.
Because if you go listen to uncle who ain't got nothing,
right,
that who has not showed you success with what he doing,
or who wasn't willing to help you prior to,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You would pay uncle, or you would say, uncle, let's go into business. Why now? If you came to somebody to help you, and I'm not, and I told Paki, I say, babe, I don't try to stroke your ego or anything like that. But when somebody come to you, that means they asking you for your help. Yeah. And you supposed to give them 100%, but you can't get them 100% when they come and tell you that the other mentor are trying to help them too. Right. That's not how they go. Right. You can't come and tell me about what nobody else said. That's like that talk about something. I can't. We can't have a conversation about a conversation. We need to be able to move forward in some things. And this is why I told Paki, I said, babe, they're gonna constantly come to you. If you don't, you got to let the slate be right there. You can't come and tell me what somebody else is telling you. We only can discuss how I'm teaching you. Right. You either go do it this way, or you gonna figure it out as you go, and you gonna be coming back. What I'm gonna do when I see that phone ring, I'm gonna put right here. Oh, this person got this person right here don't listen.
Right.
They gonna be noted with FaceTime.
Yeah, that's why. I think it's important because even down to like a lot of people follow people on Instagram and the internet and social media, and I think it's important. I think I read something that said that like, find maybe one or two quote unquote mentors and stick with those. Like you can't be following the teachings of everybody and not saying, because why? First off, is that saying one person's wrong, another? No, that's not saying that. There are just so many different ways of doing different things. So for instance, talking with her uncle, going back to her situation, it wasn't wrong. It was just not the way that we teach. Correct. So she wasn't prepared for those things that come with doing trucking that way. That's a way of doing it. It's a way of making money, but it comes with different responsibilities and different things. You need more capital to be able to support your driver, because the way we do it, there's no way. It's never a case the driver got paid and we didn't. Right, it just doesn't. It doesn't work that way. But the way she was doing it, the driver's walking away getting paid every week. She has nothing. She's up in the morning trying to find loads. She's getting audited because she's now put herself in the line of the Department of Transportation and all this stuff. Like, that's not, so yes, it could be done that way, but that's not what we're teaching. So it goes back, like I was saying, even online, for instance, it's probably hard to follow Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey. Like, who's right, who's wrong? Neither one of them, in my opinion. Just, I can get to California several ways. You know what I mean? Plane, car, and then even going that way, there's so many routes. Like, I'm just big. I hate that thing, and I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate those people who like, there's only one way to be financially free, or one way to there's no such thing as some people preach credit, use leveraging. Some people are like, nah, don't touch your credit. Who's right and who's wrong? Neither. Right. It's just so many different variables, and then including when I mix in my personal situation, that just makes it all. And this is why I'm big on mentorships as well. There's so many things I don't want to get off, but there's so many different things that you can watch for knowledge and get education and knowledge. But what mentorship does is it allows it to be sort of made for you, custom. Yeah. Because again, we both can read Dave Ramsey and Grant Cardone, and we can be on two different lanes, but end up in a similar place based on what we want out of life. That's the other thing too. Yeah. So I think what you should do is you find that mentor, that coach, who not just gives you the knowledge on what you want, but sort of lives what you want to live. Your why. Mm-hmm. You follow that mentor. Yeah, that's a good one. You follow that mentor that's living your why. Yeah. So if your why is, Lamborghinis and private jets and, luxury life living, you know what I mean? You follow that mentor because he's going to show you how to get there. That's what you want. If your why is, I just want passive income, financial freedom, to be able to travel, I don't really need you follow that mentor. If your why involves like, hey, you know what? I really want to leverage this credit, and you follow that mentor, and that's just how I think that it should be approached.
And I think with her too, sorry, you don't mind me just saying this real quick. I think with her that her uncle was teaching her earned income, and we teaching passive.
Right.
So that
there you go again. There you go again.
You know what I mean? She was looking for freedom.
Right.
And he was still giving her work.
Right.
See, that's a difference.
It wasn't about the money for her. That's what she was really. He was trying to get her into more money. Correct. And she was trying to get into freedom.
Yeah.
Right. That's really important distinction to make. And I was thinking about that as I was riding over here from the grocery store. And I was like, man, like a lot of us think that money can only follow your labor or your effort, and not money can follow the idea that you implement. Right. What you guys are doing is you're putting together a system. That system pays you over and over again.
Right.
And it's like two different things. Money comes different ways.
Correct.
Is your business more real estate or truck focused these days?
Well, I mean, it seems to be more truck focused because it seems like a lot of people are getting into trucks. That's what people are interested in. So it pushes that way. And then even personally right now would feel that way because we just picked up about 3 more trucks in our, on our team. So doing that, yes, as of today, this interview, yes. However, we still buy real estate. We just rented out a property, Section 8, June. June was the first month. We're starting rehab on a few other our properties next week. So it's still going. And also, we're still educating people on real estate. Let me say that. I think what has happened is the trucking thing has sort of overshadowed a lot of it because it's easier to get into, less money upfront required. Yes. So the success stories are rolling in a lot faster than the real estate. Real estate, a certain level of knowledge, I feel. Yes. And it takes longer. You need more money and, more things to fall into place. So it seems that trucking is a thing. And, but like I said, we still do real estate. I tell people all that we're real estate people. I like trucking, but our passion is still real estate, going through.
Can you talk a little bit about financing a truck and what the lenders are looking for as far as like credit score and all that stuff?
So here's the funny thing. As of to date again, and, lending things change, probably more often than you do podcasts. But, as of today, now is the time. If you're looking to finance a truck, is the time. When I say like lenders are just, and this is a part of this wave that we're going through in the financial realm that we're in right now. Now is the time to get the financing. Credit doesn't have to be super great. I've seen people with the 640, 650 get them. Now you may need a little bit more down. And then we even have lenders now telling people they won't even pull your credit if you come with like 30, 40% down. We don't even care. We don't even need to look at your credit. And for those people with good credit, here's the thing, and I tell it on the live all the time. I'll say it here. As of this date, and I know this date will be tagged because I don't know anybody say, well, you said it. As of this date, we've seen more people over the last 60 days get their truck with 0 down. I mean, it's sort of unheard of. Not only 0 down, including ourselves and several other people we know, not only we've gotten our truck with 0 down, the lender has actually kicked us back, cash, upwards to 20 grand, someone else 12 grand, someone else 7 grand. So they're lending the money, saying you don't have to come with any money down, and then we're going to give you some cash on top of that in the form of either a line of credit or a loan to help your business. This was unheard of, but these programs are kicking out through different lenders. Why? Which tells you what it's a cycle. Remember, the same thing happened with real estate. This proves that the trucking business is on the continued rise. You don't go from 500 to 600 to 700 billion dollars in the industry. The industry is growing crazy. So guess what happens? The lenders see it, and then what they do? We want to lend more money. It's that thing. Let's be honest, the bubble's going to burst. They always do. But right now, it's still blowing. So here we go again. We ain't looking at 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Right now, the lenders are lending. One of the other biggest things people used to have problems with was getting lending without a CDL. We have been able to help people get that lending, no CDL. Again, no money down through different methods and different routes we take. But again, right now, even the interest rates, like you couldn't get trucking financing with, 7%, 6%. That was unheard of. You're able to do this now. And again, the criteria. Here we go again. This is the first time people will hear it on the Todd Milley podcast. Even no doc. Yes, I said it. No doc financing. Yes. Pull the credit. That's it. Sign and drive, as they say. We've done our loans on our trucks. No doc. Sign and cash back, for the business. This is unheard of, which proves to us that now is the time. Get in, as they say, while they're giving it out, while they're kicking it out. Leverage it properly. Don't over leverage. That's the key. Don't over leverage. Don't go crazy and now, let me just go everywhere. that's where you can mess up.
Right.
Make sure you're able that you balance this thing out. You know, life is about balance, business is about balance. Balance this out. But right now is the time. Again, financing options are everywhere. And you got to take advantage of it while you can right now.
Yes.
Yep.
One thing that I like that's cool about trucking is since the money is so good, you can just pay off the truck really quick. So you don't have to spend the truck payments for the entire term. So yeah, they're giving out good financing. So if you're strategic about your money, you can take all that money, pay off the debt, and then even if the bubble does happen to burst, you're secure because you aren't over leveraged at that point.
Yeah. Great idea. Yeah.
A lot of people, do you need an LLC to get the financing for a truck, or can you do it through your personal credit?
So no, you don't need LLC. There's something we suggest that you incorporate a company. It's going to help you build business credit as well, depending on the lender. Again, each lender is different, but you don't. In fact, we know people who have purchased their trucks financed through their own personal name, and then you can always go back. I mean, I don't want to get into too much teaching here you're the specialist on this, but you can literally buy that truck in your personal name and then lease it on to your business from yourself. And then, again, I don't want to get into the tax stuff, the write-offs and all these different things. But so there's ways of doing it. I'm big on this again. I'm big on getting it done.
Yes.
Like too many people, I didn't, what are you waiting on? I haven't, I haven't done the LLC yet. And then, I'm waiting for the papers, and then I got to get an address. Oh, wait, because I want to do it right. I need to get a 1-800 number. Oh, but I don't want to do the LLC at my home address because I heard that that's not good for business credit. Oh, but then, what? As SpongeBob say, what the kids say, 2 years later, you still ain't got nothing going. Man, Get your behind in there. Get that financing done. Yes. Put it in your name. Get this thing on the road.
And then start working on it.
I was in a mastermind a few months back in Miami with some big. I mean, when I say some big name people, I won't even. It was like a private group, and all these people are multi-millionaires. And one of the guys that was speaking at this mastermind basically told us, and this guy had just closed a $50 million deal. And he was saying when he started his business, he did it all in his personal name for almost the first 2 years. He did not even incorporate a company into the business. Check this out. Until the business was $300,000 profitable, not revenue, profitable. And he's like, yeah, I paid taxes on that money personally for the first few years. He was like, I didn't care. But I knew before I went and did all these things, I had to make sure I had, as they say, proof of concept or forget me. You're making money. How about that? For the people that don't understand proof, let's make sure you're making money.
Right.
Once you're making money, you can go back. We talked about this in the league. You can go back and start making changes to your company structure and amending things and changing things, But if you're one of those people, don't let that hold you back. Too many people let the fine details, hold them back, So
create their own red tape.
Exactly. You create your own red tape. Yeah.
Right,
just do it. Yeah. Do it and then fix it, Yep.
Cool. So to touch on the actual, like the real estate elite platform, you guys are launching Elite 4 or 3, 4.
Yeah. In 2 more days. Yep.
In 2 more days. So can you talk about the success of past elite members and what your goals are for this next elite class?
Oh man. So listen, the elite family is so dear to our heart. It's like I tell people, it's almost like, you got those certain cousins or relatives that like, those cousins that you grow up with like brothers and sisters, So that's how our elite family is really dear to our heart. They've been on this journey with us, and just to see the success of those people, I mean, from so many aspects. We were just talking the other day, and even though elite is not based on personal and business credit, that's not like the elite is real estate based, but we get so many people like, hey, from the credit portion, I was able to get $100,000 I was able to get $250,000. I was able to do this, and it was like, wait a minute, we're not even a credit based mentorship, but we talk about those things, and just to see the success stories of people buying their first, so many elite members, again, probably at least 30 to 40 people, if not more, have purchased properties their first time from going through the elite program.
Oh yeah.
They're first time home buyers, and I mean investors for buying whole properties. There are other members that have went on and started their own property management companies, rehab companies, and bringing in other investors. And, in the group, we're seeing people partnering up, doing deals together and supporting each other. It's just a wonderful thing, like I said, and even bigger than the real estate. Like I said, we now are doing things where elite members we're supporting each other's businesses and products and services. So we're buying each other's products and services, supporting each other's businesses, and just to see it all come together, it's a beautiful thing. Definitely. I tell people all the time, for me, I see my own success and I do it, but I want to be measured by the success of people that I've helped.
Yes, most definitely. That's a legacy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
how would you say that the Hood Estates Elite platform is different from like other guru platforms or other gurus that are out there that are kind of putting stuff out there for people?
Well, I think for me, it's knowledge is knowledge, and you can get, like I said, you can get knowledge from a lot of different things. And I'll be honest, I don't, I see other people, I've heard other people, but I don't know exactly what they're teaching. But I think there's a lot of knowledge out there. The difference is for us, at least I know what we bring to the table, is family. Going back to the original question about family, people need more than just knowledge.
Yes.
Obviously, they need applied knowledge to make it work. But what we realize is that, and we've seen this happen. No matter what, if me and her are going at it head to head, we can't get on the same page as a couple. Most likely that business, that investment that we're trying to do together is not working.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably not the business investment, it's us. Yes. So what we bring to the table with this elite group, and I think what makes us different from others, is that we dig in to people. We are mentoring people, not giving knowledge.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, we have our mentorship calls with our elite members, and there are plenty of them that not one word about real estate is discussed.
None.
Like, I've talked to guys in the elite, and literally, like, we on the phone talking about marriage and, how to keep their marriage. I've talked to, we've talked to, being fathers, and I mean, even elite members going through rough times in their lives, whether it's death in the family or experiencing hardship, we've talked to them. And like, the call's supposed to be about real estate. I'm like, listen, screw that. We're not talking about that today. How can we help you? What do we need to help you? So that is something that's bigger than just knowledge, and it
got bigger than us.
it got bigger than us. And we're getting people to do that with each other. Yeah. We tell them all the time, listen, y'all are our family. And you're not going to like everybody all the time, but we need to support each other. So this is why we help with business. This is why we support their business. This is why we repost. People say, oh, do y'all do paid? No, we don't do paid promotion on our page. Well, I seen y'all promoting this business. But oh, that's an elite member. Yeah, we'll put an elite member stuff on our page to promote their business. So I think our mentorship is more about building the person than it is giving knowledge.
It is, and it's crazy too, Todd. Like, it's so unique that people don't feel like they have to measure up. They just feel like they family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you got Paki and talk to at least 2 guys that's in prison.
Yeah.
That's
in an elite member. Yeah, elite members, they're doing elite from prison. I don't know how, but they are,
You know what I mean?
and we get on calls and we talk.
Doing it.
Yeah.
People from Afghanistan.
Yeah, one guy's in Afghanistan.
It's like, you got people, I remember our first ones that we mentored, they both was in the service.
Yeah.
And they were trying to do it when they come back over. And you got people that's really doing it. Then we have young people that's trying to figure out life.
Right.
And do business. They don't want to do how they parents. They don't want to do the worker bee.
Right.
Not knocking the worker bees, but everybody don't want to have an overhead. That's somebody that's telling them how to clock in and what to wear, and how to be uniform for them for $1. No. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's just temporary. So if I'm gonna do that for a while, mom or dad or uncle, whoever it is, I'm gonna go do this so I can be able to be my own boss and taking control of my own business. And that's another thing that we do too, that we talk to them about. you know, that it's going to be scary because the average person are worker bees. That is the familiar. That is that's the constant. So we know how to do that part. What we don't really know how to do as a people is to be our own bosses and maintain our own freedom, our time, you know.
And I think too with the elite, what makes it different is people like you, the Todd Millies, the Kendra, the Key Resources, the Charm City Buyers, the Ericas, the Nitas, the Clays, the Mobile Home Elite Investors, you know, the Real Talk Runs. All of the advisors are people who we pick that genuinely care about people.
Right.
So you're not just getting this knowledge from me and her or what we know. You're getting knowledge from people like you.
Yeah.
And not just knowledge, it has built the thing that I've had people like, hey, you know, I reached out to Todd Millie, and at first it looked like he was not answering my DMs, but as soon as I told him I'm an elite, as soon as I said I'm an elite member, I started getting some response. You know, it's like, oh, okay, you're elite. Let me respond back to you. So I think that's important. You know, the community of overall, but people like you, like those others that I mentioned, you know, Asia, Denson Construction, and again, everybody that has contributed to the elite group as advisors. So you're getting different perspectives from different people in different markets, from different things. The experts, you know, our week 1 is goals and plans. That's with me and you. And one of the keys I say is let people do what they're good at.
Right.
You know, so bringing in people that are good in their respective fields, and it's not just, oh, okay, I heard this person. No, you can reach out to Todd Millie. You know, you might can invest into his investment club. You know, you can reach out to so-and-so and do that. So we continue to look to build that because we bring in new advisors and new programs when we can. So, and it's just growing as a family. Like I love to see the group chat where people are linking up with each other and helping each other. Just the other day, we had one of our members who were going to look at her first commercial deal, and she was so afraid. Check this out. This is amazing. I probably should post it, but she was so afraid that she ran in the chat group and said, hey, I'm going to look at my first commercial deal. Can anybody go with me? Now, funny thing, nobody was in the city that she was in, but 2 of the members did a group FaceTime with her and walked that whole property with her, you know, that day. So it was like, and she got back in and was like, oh man, I thank y'all. I felt comfortable because I felt I had my brother and sister with me, even though y'all was with me on FaceTime, but me walking this with this agent, he was like, whoa, you know, hey, you guys, so these are my people. These are my partners. They're with me. So that, again, listen,
that's
man,
powerful.
Knowledge, money, yeah, it's all good, but that connection, building that network and then that family is something you can't pay for. Yeah.
Wow. So it's super powerful stuff. Are there any last words you want to leave with the listeners? Oh, you know what? I didn't ask you the last kind of 4 questions.
Okay.
The first question, and then I'll get to the last words. The first question is, who is somebody that you look up to and why?
Well, for me, it's always going to be my grandfather. He's gone, but I've always looked up to him. Again, his character, his personality. He was the wealthiest man I know, and like I said, he didn't even have a third of what I have financially. But what I realize is you can build wealth in people.
You sure can.
So, and that's what he did. He built wealth in people. He poured so much. He invested so much into people that the return made him wealthy into the people, not into things. So that's someone that I look up to, will always look up to, you know.
And
I want to know who Sandy look up to.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
Me.
and that's the truth. You know, it's crazy. I think that I told him, no matter all the hardships, we've been together 23 years, I have never had nobody have my back, like with no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how the good and the bad and the ugly, at the end of the day, he has always been my best friend. So to have somebody that would teach me and lead me, he has been my accountant. He has been my PR. He has been my homeboy. He didn't be my girlfriend a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like, because there's times when we be going so far, I need that talk, you know, and he's able to know when to take those hats off. And I'm not just stroking his ego. He knows that. And when I tell him I need him to take that layer off and be this for me, he knows how to do that part. And I really believe that is because I cover him to become the man that God wants him to be, because God put him in charge of my life. He is the image that God trusted him with me, with my heart. So he is the person that I look up to be honest.
Shout out to Paki. I look up to Paki too, man. I'm trying to live that life, man.
Come on, Ty. Go on. Thank you, man.
What's your favorite business or real estate book?
Believe it or not, I tell people I don't really read a lot of books because it's hard for me to just read straight through a book.
But one of your favorite books is The Being Millionaire.
Yeah, now believe it or not, that's one of the only books that I've read all the way through. How to Become a Millionaire God's Way. Right. Yeah. And it's probably the only. Yeah, it is the only book that I've read from beginning to the end. I actually read it twice. How to Become a Millionaire God's Way. But outside of that, I'll read like a chapter here, because I don't know. It's hard for me to just now with these audio books. Yeah. I probably get into more. But another one is what was it? Set Free. I forgot the guy that wrote it. He's on that podcast on that. I think it's Bigger Pockets. Mm-hmm. I think it's called Set Free. Yeah.
Set for Life.
Set for Life. Oh, Set for Life. See, I don't even know the name, but Set for Life. Yes, that's a really good book. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, don't look at me, Todd.
Okay.
Like that book. I skim through what I need and I keep going. Like I can tell you, like I literally skim through it and just like, okay, this is what I need. Okay, that's what I got.
We do. I don't know why we just never really just read books like that. We read exactly what we need out of it and just keep going.
I like it. What does wealth mean to you?
Again, for me, wealth means family, legacy, people.
Yeah. For me, wealth means freedom. I'm gonna always go back to my beginnings. Being in the hood was restrictions. There were limits. There were no room for growth. To be honest with you, that's what it felt like. And to be financially free, you can make decisions because that wealth becomes that tool that will open up doors, will make people move, make opportunities grow, and you can plant so many seeds with money. Money is a tool that you plant seed. It is your hoe to put in that ground to plant seeds so you can reap a harvest. That's what I would say. That's what wealth is to me. That with love.
So now we're back to the last words parts. Any last words you want to leave with the people?
To me, I would say, especially after going through this podcast, there's probably someone listening to this that, again, is on the fence because they've been either trying to dot every I and cross every T. They've been trying to look at an industry or a business to see what is the 10-year projection on it and could it be this? I would say just do it right now. Don't worry about an LLC. Don't worry about this and that. Get started doing it. Stop worrying about, I got to wait for my business credit. I got to get credit. I tell people all the time, one of my biggest things, nothing wrong with using credit, but to me, credit should be gas on a fire that's already burning.
Right.
Not necessarily starting businesses off of full credit. Like get something going, start making some money, and then as you see it going, then get the credit to pour the gas on there. So that would be my final words. Like, just do it now, today,
right now,
today.
Mine would be 3 things. I would say the first thing I would say, Ty, what I said the other night on live was that the first thing you got to do, you got to change your mind. You got to change your thinking. Because if anything that's not working for you has not worked, it's not going to work. I can just tell you that. My next thing will be to tell you that you have to get uprooted out of your comfortability. You have to take risks. You have to be afraid. It's okay. I'm telling you right now, whoever's watching this, it's okay to be afraid because you're afraid because it's unfamiliar. That means you're doing something right. Because if you were doing the familiar, that means you're stuck, it's stagnant. Get out of that. So now you're doing something that's going to scare the hell out of you to push you to go further. You are equipped to do it. The third thing I would say is that I would tell you to pray about whoever your source is. Pray and get around good people, man, like-minded people. Those people that you are around that see you in your same situation that has relatable stories are not your people. They're already stuck. They're not growing. They're not growing. So get a new group, get like-minded people. And yes, at the beginning, I promise you, yes, it's going to be lonely. It's okay. Sometimes loneliness just takes away the chatter. You need to get lonely so that the chatter stops. And now you can start listening for new voices. So remember, change your mind. Get around a new group of people. And then you got to get uncomfortable. Please, it's okay. It's okay to be that way.
Awesome. Last question is, where can people find out more about you? Where can they follow you, and where can they find your products?
Best way is IG, Hood Estates, at Hood Estates on IG, or Facebook, Hood Estates 1. You can email us at info@hoodestates.com or hoodestates@gmail. But the best way usually is IG. Check us out on there. You'll be able to see everything we have and follow us. You know, we're on this journey together.
And after this, you can go ahead and make that donation to the, we're going to take up a collection and we're going to have press service on Friday.
We'll pass the collection plate.
Yeah, let's pass that collection plate around, you know.
Go ahead. Listen, for real. Y'all come follow us on Hood Estates, on IG, Hood Estates and Hood Estates 1 on Facebook.
Nice. Very cool. So thank you for coming on the show. We have links to all of their products in the show notes. You can check them out and what they have to offer for the community. They're doing some great stuff in real estate and in trucking, just building this huge empire, not just of money, but of people. So all the people they're connecting with and helping, it's really cool to see. So thank you again for coming on the show. This is episode 112. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Top Millionaire, signing off.